EarthMC has a lot of problems. Though unappreciated for what it does right, EarthMC still has a lot of things that really suck. The community, the staff, the map, all these things are commonly mentioned when talking about EarthMC's problems. But there's something worse in my opinion. Something that single-handedly ruined EarthMC. So today we're going to talk about what that is and how EarthMC may solve this problem. Though before I do that, the channel subscribers have been super slow recently. So yet again, I need to push this and ask that you really just quickly subscribe to the channel. It'll help me out a ton just to grow on YouTube. Super appreciated. Thank you. Anyways, EarthMC's biggest problem. I personally think the answer to this problem lies in town claiming, a fundamental part of EarthMC. After all, it's the geopolitical townie server. Townie is what makes EarthMC what it is, but its greatest strength also comes with its greatest weakness. Basically, what I want to talk about today is inactive towns. Towns with 1 or 2 residents who get on purely to avoid their towns disbanding and their player data getting wiped, contributing nothing to the server, while taking up valuable space in desirable locations, something EarthMC lacks at the moment. Take this for example, the eastern USA, a very overcrowded area that has grown in claims a ton over the past year. In the red, I've highlighted towns with 1 resident. Yes, 1 resident. Now this isn't an absolutely insane amount. In fact, it's less than I thought it would be. But imagine if all of this was unclaimed. That's a large portion of the Great Lakes area and all of the southern East Coast. If all of this land was disbanded, that's a ton of area for new towns. It'd surely freshen up the area with some new faces. Now let's look at a picture of the SPQR area. This is a bit more extreme than the East Coast. If all of these one-man towns were disbanded, the area would look a lot more interesting. There's no reason why SPQR needs to hold on to all of this land. They really aren't doing anything at the moment, so holding on to all of this land is just prolonging their death and making them feel like something they definitely are not. It isn't 2019 anymore, SPQR. But anyways, these are 2 examples of areas covered in inactive towns and players. I didn't grab these areas specifically because it's worth here. I just took a couple notable areas. That means it's like this all over EarthMC. Inactive towns make the server less fun to play, taking up space that could be used on new towns. Now I want to show you a Google sheet I made a while ago. It has the top 50 cities in the US by population. I made this looking for a new spot to create a town. From this I only found 13 of the top 50 cities are not created on EarthMC already. And out of the 13 that aren't already created, 8 are in claimed areas. That means only 5 of the top 50 cities in the US are areas where you can actually start a town. That's completely outrageous. New players want to come online to the server and create their hometown or favorite city, but in all likelihood that's just not an option for them. After all, 80% of the US lives inside major cities. It means that 80% of the people playing Minecraft, probably more like 90%, are already in claimed areas. Because EarthMC has been created in such a way that makes it extremely easy to claim a town and keep it until the end of time. All you need is 64 gold and the will to get on every 40 days. It's not that hard, especially if you have queue priority or premium. At least it isn't for so much of EarthMC's population who does it. So I bet you're thinking right now, I've given you a problem, but no solution to said problem. Well, now I want to look at some solutions to EarthMC's biggest problem, because I think this is actually something that can be solved. Not in a way that Fix would do or would be accepted by the community, but a way. So we have a few options that I've thought long and hard about. First option is a minimum amount of residents, meaning you need 2 residents to be a town. And if you don't get that within 30 days of creating your town, it gets disbanded. Now this is definitely unconventional and stops people who don't know how to recruit from making towns. It also doesn't work for players who are making one-man projects. It might also result in inactive 2-player towns, which would be harder to do, but still easy. This might solve the problem to an extent though. Since it's not a problem that can be 100% solved, this is some of the best we can do. The next option is an obvious one that you're probably already thinking, that being upkeep. This would be a way to make it harder for inactive towns to be a thing, since you'd need to make gold to put into your bank for the town to stay alive. The main problem with this one would be you wouldn't be able to get community support for it, since nobody wants to pay upkeep, which is valid. It's a hassle that makes owning a town more difficult. It also might result in more taxation to pay for upkeep, which is never a good thing. But I've also come up with a way to expand upkeep to work even better, and this is claim upkeep. This means your upkeep goes up depending on how much you've claimed. Maybe by like 1 gold nugget every chunk. This makes claiming an insane amount of land and leaving it there a lot less appealing, making it very hard to keep large inactive towns. This is in my opinion the best option. I think it'll work better than any other option, but I also think it's just not going to happen. The community at large just does not want to see this added to the server. They don't want to pay gold to keep their towns. So I think this isn't going to happen. It's probably an after reset idea. That's the only way that he could really put it onto the server without people getting mad at him. The other idea is something that is a lot more simple and actually possible to happen. And that's just a shorter inactivity timer. Maybe lower it to a month, maybe lower it to 20 days or so, forcing players to get online more often, making it harder to keep a town inactive without disbanding. The only problem with this one is when people genuinely can't get onto their computer and play. So you can't make it too short. I think 25 days would probably work the best, but 30 days is also a decent idea. It really just depends on if this change would make a difference to inactive players. It may be more of a hassle for them, but I don't know if it'll actually make more people give up on their town that they've worked years on. Another idea is to add on to the last one is a playtime requirement within the 25 to 30 days. Maybe half an hour, 1 hour. I doubt anything more would work, but I feel like this could be very decent. It's definitely the right idea. It's just getting the right amount of time that isn't too much for the average player, but is for the inactive player. But that's it for my ideas. And we just get back to staring the problem in the face. It's a difficult thing to solve without resetting the server. But since that's never going to happen, we just have to look at our options and think about which one might work if they were added. Would any of them even work? Personally, I think they could, but nothing we do would really solve the problem at hand to a full extent. After all, you need to think inside the mind of an inactive town owner. You've worked hard to create whatever their town might be, and they don't want it to go to waste. So they hold on to the past and pretend their town is fine. Virginia is an example I think of off the top of my head. It hasn't been relevant since 2019, and yet Keeper Faye just continues to get on once every 40 days and do absolutely nothing, and then log off. All to contribute to a town that does absolutely nothing. Next to Virginia is Maryland. I've talked to the owner of Maryland, who says she literally only keeps the nation because she dislikes the people around her and wants to keep the land so nobody else can claim it. All of these people mean no harm to new players who want to create a town there, but have their own valid reasons for continuing to reside in their inactive town. It's a sad reality that all of these blank faces behind the screen have their own reasons for all their actions, so we really just have to deal with it. Though I will say resetting the server and adding upkeep with the reset is objectively the right decision. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I really hope you do enjoy. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and join the Discord, please. Thank you all very much for watching. Guys, Callie, I hope you enjoyed it. Toothbrush. Alright, it's midnight and I need a minute and a half more to get to 8 minutes, so I'm going to talk about my Beaver Geography channel, and I'm going to accompany that with whatever picture I happen to have on my computer right now, because I don't want to go through the effort of finding new pictures for it. So basically, I have a Beaver Geography channel. We talk about, obviously, geography. We had a few videos that came out on that channel. The first one being the U.S. interstate that doesn't follow the rules, that being I-80 in Cheyenne. It's a really cool interstate that just decides to not follow the rules. Who would have thought? It follows the title perfectly. Second video we have is the worst city in the United States, that being Camden, New Jersey. I basically talk about the history of the city, and I talk about like where it's going, and I think that's actually a super good video. So if you want to go watch that, that'd be super appreciated. And I mean, go subscribe to that channel. Just go check it out if you're interested in that kind of content, which I think a lot of the EarthMC type people are interested in that kind of content. So I think it would be a good idea if you go and like at least look at the channel. So the link to that channel will be in the description, but obviously subscribers are just super appreciated for that channel, and it helps out a lot. I'm gonna show you whatever picture I want to right now until I get to 8 minutes. Goodbye.